Welcome to this help movie on importing and exporting data in Rebase via spreadsheets. Later demos will go into further details on exporting and displaying data through other methods such as reports and charts. The example we'll be using is a research institution that runs several skin tests on a set of children over a certain period of time. So they'll be collecting data relating to the patients and the results of the skin test each time the children visit. This patient and test occasion data view has been set up to collect, process and output all the required data. When the view is opened, we can see it has two tabs. One tab to collect the patient details and another to collect the data for each child's test occasion. To import data into this tab, click the Import button. The import window first shows you the expected spreadsheet format. It details the columns that must be included and in which order. Note this is the same order as was set by the administrator when setting up the view. It also provides the details of the type of data each column should contain. For example, the initials column must contain a text value between 1 and 5 characters long. Note if the column does not say the field is required, then empty values will be allowed. If you do enter blank values and want to overwrite any existing data in those cells, then tick this option. So this spreadsheet has been prepared for upload. When uploading the data, the system would check all data for accuracy before saving. For example, we know the initials field must contain a text value between 1 and 5 characters. Therefore, if we change one of these values to 6 characters, we can expect it to alert us of this mistake when we upload. It's important to note that date, time and date time columns must be formatted correctly before they can be uploaded. For example, date columns must be formatted as date using day, month, year format and must be the option without the asterisks. Time columns must be hours, minutes, seconds format, again without the asterisks, and date time columns must be custom day, month, year, space, hours, minutes, seconds format. Seeing as this column is a date, we can set the format as previously described. When you've prepared the spreadsheet, you can select it from here. And then enter the sheet number you want to upload. In this example, it's sheet 1. When we click to upload the spreadsheet, the system will first upload and check the document, then validate all data has been entered correctly. If not, it will abort the process and alert us of the errors, else it will proceed to save the data. So the system has found the error in the initials column and also lets us know which row. After fixing the error and resaving the document, we can select to upload the data again. This time the import was successful, and when we close the window, we can see the data has been added to the grid. Most grids throughout Rebase allow you to export the data to an Excel spreadsheet. The export feature will export data that is currently in the grid. This allows you to enter search criteria to the grid and then export the results. The data window, however, has much more powerful export features. For example, we can see the Test Occasion tab has two bold ID questions. patient ID, and test occasion ID. When exporting the data, we can choose to either export the data as we see it in the grid, or apply a pivot to the data. When pivoting data, you can choose which of the ID questions to pivot the data on, and is a very important feature for research departments wanting to conduct longitudinal studies. This essentially means one row per ID. For example, we can see that patient 10004 has 3 test occasions, and all the others have 2. Now we can choose to export the data as one row per test occasion, which is basically how the grid is showing the data already, or we can choose to export the data as one row per patient ID, and then all their test occasions will be pivoted up along the same row. So let's see how this works. The export button has a drop-down list of 3 options. Export without pivot, which will export the data in the grid as we saw in the previous example, export with pivot, and export multiple tabs, which we will look at in a moment. To export with a pivot, select the required option. You can then choose which ID to pivot the data on. In this example, we will choose the patient ID. The spreadsheet will then be generated. For the purposes of this demonstration, the columns have been coloured to highlight the pivoted data. So we can see there is now only one row per patient ID. The test occasions have been pivoted up along the same row. And the occurrences of the test occasion has been added to the column titles. For example, patient 10004, who we previously saw had 3 test occasions, has the data for their first test occasion highlighted here in blue, the data for their second test occasion highlighted here in green, and the data for their third test occasion highlighted here in yellow. All other patients have 2 test occasions as we saw in the grid. You can also choose to export multiple tabs. First, choose which tabs to include in the export. Then select which ID to pivot the data on. In this example, we would choose the test occasion ID, meaning it will output one row per test occasion. Then we have the option of choosing which data will act as the main tab that all other tabs will be merged onto. For example, if we choose the patient data tab, then all patients, even those without test occasions, will be included in the export. If we choose the test occasion data tab, then only those patients that have test occasions will be included in the export. If we choose all tabs, then only those patients that have records in both tabs will be included in the export. For this example, we would choose patient data tab. So we can see that both the data from the patients tab, highlighted here in blue, and the test occasions tab, highlighted here in green, have been merged. Any items that exist in both tabs have only been added once. One row per test occasion has been exported, which we selected in the pivot on option. As there is one row per test occasion, the patient details have been replicated on each patient row, and all data from the test occasion tab has been merged onto the patients tab, meaning we also see even those patients that don't have test occasions. Thank you for listening, and please do contact us if we can be of any assistance.